talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
And welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know who I am. You know what I'm here to do. I'm here to
rock.
Okay, loving it. Joining me as always, my partner in crime, the man, the myth, the legend, Xavier Guerrero.
What's up?
How are you, Xavier? You're looking good, buddy. You're the only one who's gotten more attractive.
Oh, no.
During this epidemic.
I disagree.
Really? What's falling off? I don't know how everything's high and tight. How's that? How are you doing that?
Not by myself, but it's not the same. I'm using Manscaped, a little bit of Manscaped now on my face, which is
you're not supposed to do that, but that's why I like you.
Yeah, it's not recommended, but I got no barber right now, so I gotta handle it myself.
You're using your nut scissors on your face. I like that.
Sorry.
Dangerous times need dangerous actions, brother. And join us on the ones and twos. Him and his fake girlfriend have really been enjoying the time together. I got to work around her and this imaginary person that no one's ever met. My good friend and yours, Johnny Nice, a.k.a. Johnny Woodard. How are you, Johnny?
You're going to write some new material someday, Sam.
No. That's the beauty of the pandemic. You get to use the same stuff over and over again.
Okay. Hey, buddy.
How was your Mother's Day?
Well, my mom's 2,000 miles away, so I sent her an e-card.
What was the dude, cards are hard, right? Cards are hard. I feel a lot of pressure now to get a really good singing card. And if you don't go early, they're all out. And then.
Yeah, I don't ever remember them being out of cards, like just completely out of cards before.
Yeah. Welcome. Well, you went from North Carolina to Los Angeles. That's like.
Even here. I've had 3 years here. I don't remember them being completely everywhere out of cards. It's like paper towels. I guess just because everybody's at home, everybody's buying cards this year and mailing.
You think they have coronavirus cards? You think they have a get well soon coronavirus cards?
Get well from coronavirus?
Yeah.
Just got Bill Gates looking to hug you.
Those would all be in stock, believe me. There aren't enough.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. This whole thing is just chaos. Just chaos. And now we got all this wonderful stuff going on, but everything we've been telling you for 5 years. 5 years on this show. Even though the show is only 3 years old, but for 5 years, we've been so right. We added 2 years. That's how right this show is. My baby's crying over the fact that you guys have been calling me a crazy person, right? They only know the truth. My babies don't even know what MSM fucking lies are. They only get straight truth. No GMO food in this household. Okay,
your babies are gonna be a real experiment in that. Because they're not, you're right. They're not going to know anything about. They're going to be like, "What's CNN?"
What's CNN? Right?
That's going to be
just like, what do you mean? Listen to your politicians? They can go kiss dicks, dude. Right? Guys, a lot of great stuff is going on. I mean, the first of all, Johnny, tell us about Broken Simulation real quick. How great am I on that?
You're so good. If you think he's good on this, watch him on Broken Simulation because he's 5 times as good on that.
Dude, I bring all my stories from the week. I break shit down. It's in depth. It's a little something different from Sam.
Yeah, if you want to watch it, it's youtube.com/Sam Tripoli Comedy. It's also in podcast form anywhere you consume podcasts.
And it's got a Patreon.
It does got a Patreon.
Yeah, Broken Simulation.
Right now, it's my mom and Johnny's mom are our Patrons.
People are signing up. It's good.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. We're just trying to make a difference in our community. You know what I'm saying? And what's going on with the stripper and cocaine in Espanol podcast? How's that going?
It's going tonight again.
You guys really are freedom fighters.
Yeah, well, we need the strip clubs back open. George is dying. I know strip club regulars that are dying for the strip club to be open.
You know, dude, as a new father and just like what it goes through, my heart goes out to all those single mothers who can't make any of that like, champagne room cash right now because our lizard people governors have shut this all down. Let the single mothers dance.
Yeah, let them dance. They need money. The kids need money. They're not going to school. They got to hear the mom.
Oh, that's so great, dude. That's so great.
Education from a stripper.
That should be a YouTube channel. Stripper moms doing homeschooling. I would watch that forever. Forever. That'd be the best channel. Everybody be happy. Dad, we learned something, right? I mean, I would watch stripper homeschool forever. Guys, check out Broken Simulation. Check out George Perez Stories. Those are great shows. And, there's so much. I want to talk about so much. Obama gate is exploding right now, which will, once people come to grips with that, that will eventually lead to everyone realizing Debbie Wasserman Schultz put a hit out on Seth Rich, hired 2 MS-13 guys. And guess what happened to those guys? They're dead now, too. It's unbelievable, dude. All we do is win, 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 no matter what on this podcast. How come the listenership of this podcast isn't 7 billion? I mean, where else are you going to get that straight truth? Nowhere. Right?
Here, only here.
Only here, dude. I mean, we're not the first of it, but I feel like we're the beginning of something really big. And I got all these other podcasts coming at me. Like acting like, trying to start rap wars with me, rap beefs.
Oh, really? Is that happening?
Oh, yeah. All these podcasts start popping up on people, and they don't realize this is what I do. I'm dead on the inside. I kill hecklers, keep my teeth white. That's what I do, okay? And these guys pop off on me. You're like, dude, if tinfoil hat's Eminem, you're a SoundCloud rapper, okay? Check yourself.
Fucking Nick Cannon.
I'm so tired of these troll holstros going on here. People trolling just to get viewers, and I'm sure it works a little bit, but then you end up like fucking crashing and burning because no one likes an asshole. Just shits on everybody.
I don't know if you heard about that little kid, that's 6'9". He's the biggest asshole. He's trolling the world, and he's getting so much fucking fame. He got I think he had 2 million people watching him on his live at one time. Is that the
Asian guy?
No, that's the guy with the rainbow hair.
Oh,
with the tattoos on his face? Yeah, he's out now.
He's back?
He's back. New song and everything.
And some people are like, yeah, he's back from where he was when he got accused of molesting children and snitching on everybody. Yay! I'm glad that got taken care of, and now he can get back to listening to his overdubbed music. Listen, dude, if there's any part of this that's hard, is knowing that I am trying to save the retarded. I feel like I'm trying to save the retarded and nobody appreciates it. Guys, if you love that witty commentary, you can thank our good friends at Manscaped, everybody. That's right, Manscaped. Guys, aren't you tired of nicking your nuts? Dude, it's the worst. There's nothing worse than, what's worse than believing in the corona epidemic is dying of a nut nick during the corona epidemic. Imagine that. Imagine if you nicked your nuts, you went to the hospital and died, and they said you died of corona. That's just ridiculous, okay? But not anymore, thanks to Manscaped. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to the below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. You're probably spending more time than ever with your significant other. Oh, yeah, dude, all the time. And let me tell you something. If you don't keep it clean down there, your partner will notice. Trust me, man. She feels like she's doing a safari every time. She's hooking up with an Armenian. She's like them Raiders of the Lost Ark. She's just whacking vines trying to find the treasure. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, Bill Maher's getting in trouble talking about his big dong. I got 6 inches. I can't stop shutting up about it. Okay? And I need all 6 of those inches. Okay? And thanks to Manscaped, I now have the full 6 inches. Our guest is looking in for it.
I know.
Okay? Guys, I love this. Tell a funny manscaping story. I clean my nuts, and my girlfriend thinks I got bigger junk. How about that one? How's that for a good one? Guys, you guys have to use the Manscaped 3.0 essential tools, okay? The perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the new and improved lawnmower 3.0 waterproofing, cordless body trimmer, and tons of liquid formulations to help round out your manscaping routine. I love it. I love it, man. It looks good. The thing just shines, dude. Just shines. This looks like an Academy Award when I'm done with it. The third generation trimmer features the cutting edge blade that prevents manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick free. That's my baby crying. You came from these balls, baby. Thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin safe technology. God, they're the best. Thank you. Subscribers get the new replacement blade for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean, okay? And for a limited time, our listeners get not one, but 2 free gifts. The Shed travel package valued at $39, and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped boxing briefs. Dude, you can patent underwear, dude?
What?
Yeah. That means someone patented that elephant underwear you saw in the mall when you went to. Nope, nobody knows what I'm talking about.
What you're talking about? It's like Spencer Gifts, where your
someone
dick comes in the elephant trunk. Yeah,
elephant trunk.
You
Someone
tried that
owns
on?
that.
You
Someone
tried
made
that on?
big money.
Your 6-inch dick went in that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it did. And it looked like half a trunk, okay? This
More like
is the
an
perfect
anchor.
package for your perfect package. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code tinfoil hat at Manscaped, okay? 20% off and free shipping with the code tinfoil hat at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the promo code tinfoil hat, okay? Do it now. All right, guys. This is an interesting show today. As you guys know, I've been wanting to do shows on a couple things. The first one was I wanted to do a show on who Hitler really was. And we were nice enough. And we had the guys from Edge of Wonder on. And we put the show on. And YouTube erased it. So we knew we were on something. Okay? And the other one I wanted to do on the Pesar family. I wanted to get into that because, Q's dropped about that and all that information. So I was in a, when they were accusing me of being anti-Semitic. You guys remember that when I was talking about how I love, how Jewish chicks are number 2 on my super freak big board. And I've pleasured myself to Israeli soldier twerking videos. You remember that anti-Semitism when I was talking about that? I love how nobody talks about that. Johnny knows about it because it haunts his nightmares.
Oh, those girls are hot, though. I don't blame you. Those girls are hot. Armenian chicks.
They are hot. They're smoke shows. Kosher chicks are great, man. But one person came to defend me out of nowhere, and she started talking about the Pesars, so she knew how to get my attention. Please welcome to the show, Mel Krell. How are you, Mel?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Mel, tell us a little.
Manhattan.
I love you very much. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you being part Jewish, coming and defending me when people are just saying dumb stuff, taking stuff out of context. That was a debate show. And even though I like Adam Green, I think he's a nice guy. I think he was stating stuff right out of the Talmud, okay?
Yeah.
It was
So
the
that's
debate
called
show.
uneducated and not doing any research.
Okay, I would love to have a debate between you two. I need to do more debate shows.
Yeah. It would be quite the debate. I was yelling at the screen. Okay.
I love that. But the problem is if we did have a debate, no one would listen to it. They would just hear one clip that Adam said, and they would try to tarnish all of us as hating people. This is a simple show, man. I'm a well-written, multi-layered dick joke comic who loves people, okay? I don't ever come outside of male feminists, okay? There's nobody that no group I will ever hate. Them and child molesters. Those are the groups that I will 100% hate, okay? I'm all about love. But I want you to tell us a little bit about you, how you got into this whole movement. And, we've talked a little bit, and I can tell you're very passionate about it, and I'm super excited to have you on. So tell them how you kind of got into the Free Thinker Society.
Okay. Well, I've always been a free thinker. I grew up with a bunch of free thinkers. But Thanksgiving 2017, my parents are in Palm Beach, and I'm sitting talking to this 90-year-old retired judge, and he asked me if I knew anything about the Q map. And I said, no, what are you talking about? And he said, go check it out, talk to me tomorrow. And that was the beginning. And I started reading it and getting it. And from everything I already knew and researched, I already understood it. I've always been a big history fan, trying to figure out how the Holocaust actually happened and why. So, you know, I like codes. I like things like that. And then as time went on, and I was in LA for 14 years. And as soon as the Epstein stuff dropped, my head exploded. I couldn't believe how many people, not only that I worked for, but that I dated, that were on that island on that crazy weekend that we know from the calendar is a satanic ritual weekend, which we know what goes on there. But I started getting really freaked out at how close I've been to true evil all these years without knowing it. Kind of like that stunt guy in the movie Out of Shadows.
In the Out of the Shadows, you know.
Right.
It's
So
is
I'm
crazy,
sitting-
man. It's crazy.
I know. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh my, how is this possible? I didn't know. And then you start putting things together and it's like, oh, I remember that trip I wasn't invited on. And I remember that. They're not going to invite me.
Real quick, the key to keeping a satanic pedophile network, you know, they call them secret societies for a reason. They're secret. They don't tell you. That's my biggest problem with everybody in the community is they don't understand that, like, no matter where you go in Hollywood, there's some dark art shit. Dude, you can go to a Taco Bell down the street and they'll tell you, like, somebody that worked there ended up, like, I mean, like, dude, literally they had like I forget where it was in Texas, but like, this chicken restaurant had like underground railroads to bring
I know, I
drugs
saw
in. Like,
that. Kentucky Fried Chicken was closed.
People just don't get like what part of secret society they don't understand.
Right.
They just don't get it.
And
So that's why you didn't know, because they don't tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff up in Laurel Canyon. I lived up there. It's really fucked up. I mean,
I got something to ask you. Sorry, I got something to ask you. You said that you didn't get invited. Is there something you think you did that got you not to invited? Like, did they?
Yeah, I think they knew that I would say something. I think I mean, it was my boss, and I saw her on the list. They knew that I would be like, what the fuck are you? There's no way I would have gone along with any of it. I also don't get like crazy drunk and high and do whatever the hell they do with the blood. Like, I wasn't somebody that they knew that my moral compass was not going to go away because I was on an island hidden from sight. But
I mean, dude, I hear very famous stories of Epstein after his conviction is having like lunches with a bunch of New York City comedians. And I didn't ask who it was. I mean,
you know who it is.
It's a weird shit thing, man. It's like
But
very
selling
weird.
their souls for fame instead of using their talent and wherewithal to earn it.
It just doesn't interest me. I'm very happy. If I could get the tinfoil hat shows to 100 more people, which is about 300, 350 show, I'm good, dude.
Right.
I'm good. I like, dude, the notion like having to be huge and do
But who cares anymore? Who cares at this point? I mean, it's totally over. But you know what? This started when I was there in, the whole, like, when the gay mafia stuff came out, and it was so, all the LGBT were so offended. But it really did happen. It really did happen that talent and, earning it and working meant nothing. Diversity became what mattered, not talent or art.
Oh, yeah. We see Jeff Bezos saying that he wants his workforce to be diverse. That way they never unionize, and now this video comes out, and I'm going to do a Patreon on it tomorrow with Binky from the Propaganda Report. And we're going to break down that video of that young man getting shot. And, dude, I mean, there should be a trial. Okay. But now we're starting to find out there's more to the story. And listen, dude, nobody should ever have the right to gun down somebody in the middle of the street. There was a lot more to it, and it was done purposefully to get us all to fight with each other.
Right.
And that's what it's like. Diversity. That's our greatest thing. You live in New York. I live in LA. We could jump in a taxi or Uber that's driven by an Armenian, go to a nightclub, listen to urban music, okay? Jump in another taxi, go to a fucking taco shop, and with our Asian girlfriend, right? It's just like the diversity is the best part, but it's weaponized.
Right.
And
Right. I mean, this is the same thing that happened with Trayvon. If anyone goes back and revisits it, there's a $100 million lawsuit by the guy who's who's prosecuting for the kid, that kid that they attacked. I don't remember his name, but remember he was in DC and they said that he was like racist against the
that school and that Native American with no teeth came up playing the drums.
Yeah, that lawyer took on because now everything's come out with the Trayvon hoax book and movie.
Okay, all right. Okay, listen.
No,
we're going to get into that in another day, okay? Another day.
Jumped on the same way. They said, oh, there's a tragedy. Let's exploit it and make it look like it was racial when it really was.
Well, the funniest part was that they were trying to make it white and black, and then it's like, dude, Zimmerman's Latino. And they're like, but I remember telling that to someone. I go, Zimmerman's a Latino. He's like, what? Doesn't matter. I'm like, it does matter.
Exactly.
It really does. It's like you're saying a statement that's factually incorrect.
And you see the guy, and he's like a little 5'7" little guy who like got his ass kicked and was defending his life. Whatever, that'll come out later. But the point is, as soon as there's a tragedy, good old Rahm Emanuel and his brother Colt.
I mean, this Obamagate is going to be huge, and it's not going away. But the interesting thing is how everybody
they are trying to make it go away. They are trying to make it go away. If you go on Twitter, Obamagate literally has 1.15 million, and Trumpgate has not even a quarter of that, and it's trending higher.
Dude, and it's so obvious. Here's their only hope: they're going to shut down the internet at some point.
Right.
Something's going to happen. But our only hope is that data is king. So who knows what's going to happen?
Our only hope is us at this point. I don't even watch Fox News. I can't. I only watch people like you and 10 other people that I think are great. And that's all.
What's so interesting is we're seeing them people talk about this is the greatest presidential scandal of all time. And I'm like, there was a president that was associated with 2 different assassination attempts on 2 different presidents, right? Right? That guy flooded as head of the CIA, flooded this country with crack cocaine. You know that, right? You know,
and
his son.
Heroin too. Heroin.
I mean, that there was a guy called Woodrow Wilson who brought in the Federal Reserve in like a thief in the night on Christmas Eve. This
is a good segue to the Paysor family, is it not?
I love it. The guest is like, okay, let's get back on track, Sam. Let's get back on track. Yes, let's get in.
No, because
Johnny,
what you're saying right now is very important to the case.
Yeah, you're good, Sam. Yeah.
Okay. So I've been wanting to do a Paysar episode for a while, ever since Q dropped the P, and that sent me down this rabbit hole. And what's very interesting is how hard it is to find information on this family. And I'll tell you, it's almost like the black nobility. Good luck finding any information on either. Dude, it's so hard to find. And it took forever to get anybody to come on and talk black nobility. And it's taken forever to get anybody to talk. Is it Paysar?
What do you think that is? You think that's fear? You think it's fear?
I think it's just what we're seeing with
it is hard to find. I did so much digging, all the way back to books from the 1700s.
Yeah, right.
I just got obsessed.
It's impossible because
I couldn't believe what I was reading.
It's 1984. It is the Department of Propaganda. They go back and they just wipe out things. Find me any article that actually talks about when the NYPD chief talked about what he saw on Anthony Weiner's laptop. You can't find it. You can't find it anywhere. It has been wiped off, and I know I read it when it was coming out. I read it.
Me
And
too.
if
It was
you
like
don't
the Eric
think it's
Prince.
real,
Eric Prince came out. You remember Eric Prince came out? And
Yeah.
he's the one who was like the only other voice being like, and now Sidney Powell is always talking. Where is that laptop anyway? This is totally crazy.
well,
Anyone
what
that's on
happened?
that laptop
Well, you
is
know,
being crazy.
here's the whole thing: how you know that story's real, and we'll
Right.
get back.
No.
Is it Pesar or Pasar?
I call it Pesar, but
Okay.
it doesn't really matter.
This is how you know it's real. Is because why would Comey open up the investigation that close to Hillary doing a victory lap?
Because he had no choice.
Because he had no choice. Because the New York PD made him do it. Now,
Right. And now
how
they're
many
all
of those guys that are involved with that are dead? Like 8?
9 of 12. But are they dead? I don't know. I read the Q death pages. A little suspicious that some of those people are not dead. I hope not. I hope Cappy's not dead, but I hope a lot of the other ones are. And I can't imagine that all those cops killed. I mean, they didn't kill. I hope some of them are in witness protection. It doesn't make any sense. How's it possible?
I hope you are true, but it does. I mean, like the one police chief had a month till retirement and he offs himself. Come on.
How about the Shermans? It was a murder-suicide. Now we find out it was a straight-up murder. And
Well,
they
yeah,
created
but
their
that's
own
interesting because
hydrochloroquine.
we talked about this before. They were involved in Haiti, and everybody involved in Haiti, a lot of them are dead. A lot of them are
Well, yeah,
dead.
and a lot of the whistleblowers are dead. Remember that guy came to talk to Trump a few weeks later, dead. You know?
Yeah. So let's
this
get
gets
into the
it.
Pesars. Who are they?
Okay, so through all my research, and I like David Icke and all these people, Mark Dice. I went through their stuff. I went through a lot of records, and basically, this is my opinion. Anyone can dig for themselves. I don't want to get attacked, but this is my opinion from everything I've read, which is a lot. And like you said, it's very hard to find. Anyway, Daniel Pesor is really the son of Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI. Is it Louis XVI? Okay. And anyway, when they had their heads chopped off.
This is back when the elites had to pay a price, which was a very interesting time because, the things started changing right around then. If you even go all the way to Mussolini, when they hung Mussolini, the elites go, whoa, this is like we could lose our heads.
It's going to connect to the Pesors.
Oh, shit.
Ready? So what you're talking about is here's what happened. So the rumor, I think it's true, is that the child was 2 years old. He was the heir apparent. See, LC would be King Louis, right? And anyway, the story as it goes is that King George, who was in bed with the financial side of the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call them. I hate calling them that because it's off-putting. But anyway, he took the 2-year-old child from prison and exchanged it with a different child who was deaf and mute. Okay. And that child was in England and then sent to Given Stock in Virginia Company. His name was.
Okay, so real quick, we jumped over a lot of stuff here. So this son named David, right? He's under house arrest by the Freemasons.
Lewis.
What?
Lewis. She said Lewis.
Oh,
The son was the next King Louis.
okay, so his name was Lewis, and they changed his name. Okay, so
Yes.
Lewis is under house arrest by the Freemasons.
Right.
They slip out his brother, which sounds shady as shit.
I know. I can't find anything on the brother.
But the brother was supposedly mentally handicapped or something along the lines of that. They switch him out. They get him to England where he's under royal protection.
King George. Yeah.
King George. When he turns 19, they decide to send him to America.
Right.
And he basically went there with what? The equivalent of like $50 million?
Well, King George gave him a ship, 800 acres of land, and he went with a guy whose last name was Pesor. They changed his name to Bayshore, and they sent him over as Daniel Pesor. So they come over to Virginia, and they start buying up land and building the railroads. That's
money. How it starts, man. They decide they got to start building a railroads, and like the railroads.
Because then they own the land.
I mean, people, I mean, like it was the, you know, the flying of that day. The people couldn't fly back then. So
Right.
everybody was using the rail system.
Right. And that's how you
And think
transfer
about
goods.
this. We didn't have highways until
Right.
much later.
Right.
So everybody was traveling through.
Right.
Just think about that, man. We didn't have highways.
No. And these people cornered the market in transportation of goods and services. Remember, originally it was, so this is the Virginia Company. Originally, railroads were wood, but then guess who starts the first big steel company? The Paysor, Daniel Paysor. Now, what happens then? What else does he start? He starts the first fertilizer company. He owns all the big Lancaster cotton.
Oh yeah, there's a
Starts
list
all the
of like
mills.
everything that the Paysor family owns.
Right. Now their name is Paysor, but a lot of people there knew. And this anyway, so the old elder Paysor dies, okay? But he has 3 daughters, and they split it up. Now, Daniel Paysor leaves everything. One son of his died, Adam, and the other one, apparently, Louis Cass Paysor is the one that really built the entire railroad system, the entire cotton, fertilizer. They bought lots of forests, and they also made it that they owned 15 miles north and south or east and west of the railroad tracks that they had. So then you go into the next phase of their, first of all, you have to remember, this is the French monarchy. These aren't Americans. These aren't
people
Americans.
don't realize that, dude. It's the French
Monarchy.
royal family.
Right, exactly. That's how they had unlimited money and resources and knowledge and ability.
And you combine that with the British royal family.
Right. Well, that's going to come to the, well, a lot of people don't know that DC is a corporation, just like the Vatican is a corporation, just like the City of London is a corporation.
Which is
They
my
have
whole
nothing to do
theory
with
that we're just Jesuit. These are all, and I include Israel into this.
I do too, but
Jesuit.
Israel's a weird, like, I'll get there, because my big thing with you was I was saying, you know, the misconception is about the Rothschilds is very, people bought into a total con when it comes to anti-Semitism and those people. So
we'll get into that because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
So
but it is my belief that like I was told by somebody, and if you know you tell me something, I'm going to assume it's real. Is that the Vatican owns like 60% of Israel? Somebody was telling me.
Well,
like a huge
who owns the
chunk.
Vatican? Who owns the Vatican?
That's
The
the whole
Rothschilds own the Vatican. They bought the
Well,
Vatican.
hold on. I believe the Vatican.
1832, the Rothschilds bought the Vatican.
Well, I you know, so that's a contention that Adam Green was talking about well, who controls the Vatican?
The
But
Rothschilds.
it is
Well,
my
it's
belief that
the
it is
13
even beyond that
I
black
agree.
nobility above that. And that, you know, the Rothschilds are just an extension of another of what we're seeing right here is that these guys rebrand themselves. So
Right.
so it's like Rothschilds are only I forget the name of the one of the 13 bloodlines,
Right.
which goes back to what I'm saying is that
Right.
you know, and we'll get into that part. I know you want to talk about, but it's much greater than who runs. I just think the Vatican is Rome, and Rome was Egypt, and Egypt was the city
And
of
Venice.
Atlantis.
Well, the Merchant of Venice, don't forget, that's where all banking started. This loan and debt meant like hell we live in, that's all based on debt and interest is a farce. It's a farce. Anyway, back to, so Rothschild really means, first of all, it's a made up name. It means red shield, okay?
Oh yeah,
So
which is interesting because if you take a look at the Red Cross, right?
Wow.
They own that too.
Yeah.
So, okay. So the Paysors give the daughters, the father, Louis Cass Paysor, his attorney and everything was this guy, Leroy Springs, who was also one of the 13 or 12 families, 13 being the Paysors. And he's a Rothschild. Springs is a name. It was Springsteen. They came over. They were given land in New Jersey and New York. Well, this guy takes over the entire Louis Cass Paysor Trust. At this point, they're playing around with hiding companies like they do now. Like if you look at Nexium or Epstein, they have their parent company or trust, and then like 200 companies underneath that run by different trustees that we think are the CEOs, and they're not. They're just trustees. The owner to this day of all of these corporations is still the original owners, which are descendants of the French monarchy.
I'm going to add a link to this page I found. It's called reignsofheaven.org, and they just list all of the
I know,
holdings.
I saw it.
It is
Crazy.
like every rail company they basically own,
No
every
idea.
one of them.
Exxon, Standard Oil, GM. I mean, it's nuts, but people don't know, and this is really where
the
the real
Bank of
trauma
Health
comes.
Springs, the Bank of Charleston. I mean, all these banks they own.
Oh.
First National Bank. It's just like Bank of
Everything, and they have a
Richmond.
monopoly on our energy. They own the entire energy grid. PG&E. Remember the fires in California? Who owns PG&E? The same parent company. So this is from my research. But the point is that the Pesor Trust is an irrevocable trust, and it was done under some maritime law, not our law of America. So our government cannot audit it. So because of this crazy trust that they did, and it was a forever trust, but then a lot of the leases for the railroads were 99-year trusts, which then expired in 1993, conveniently while George Bush Sr. was in office. And George Bush Sr. changed the entire Lewis Cass Pesor Trust into a new company called CEDE, C-E-D-E and Company. C-E-D-E and Company owns America. Okay, and I'm sure you know that the
How do you
Fed,
spell that? C-E.
C-E-D-E and Company. Okay, so it's all the same people. Okay, this is the craziest part is you go through it and it's all the same people. And
Okay, so real quick before you can move on, here's some miscellaneous companies that they own. Okay, Standard Oil, Exxon, right?
Yep.
Holy crap.
Yep, they own our entire grid, which is, I think, why Trump put in the executive order about the grid last week. It's getting hot, you know. And but here's the thing about them. Guess who else they own? They own the Federal Reserve. Okay.
That is crazy. They own the Federal Reserve.
Yes, yes. And they are the only true, because anyone that trades an IPO or whatever, they know they have to sign a contract. Well, it's a really long contract that has lots of conflicting stuff on it, but at the end of the day, everything, including mortgages, goes right back to them. So this is still this trust that nobody can investigate. Okay. Now President Jackson tried, and it's the same people just now, and you know, they intermarry. They don't leave.
They own General Motors.
Everything. It's crazy.
Cadillac.
Yeah. But aren't we all told that certain people, CEOs, chairmen, they're not
General Electric.
They don't have any power, the people that run these companies. It's all run by this trust. And then they spread out these companies. So anyway, George Bush Sr., after the 99-year leases ended for the railroads and the banks and everything, started this CEDE and Company, which is the only company that really owns anything on the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. And they have the DTC and DTCC, and these are deposit companies that are the only people that can deposit or withdraw from the stock exchange.
According to this, the Charleston, Cincinnati, Chicago Railroad Company is the Federal Reserve.
Right, owned by the Lewis
Pesor
Cass
family.
Pesor Trust.
Yeah. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. So here's the real screwing us. And it's not just us. These are banks. They have banks all over the world that they control, 184 banks. But here's the truth is that they own it's like type A stock, it's called, on the stock exchange. And that's the owners, and those are the voters. Only, they say, like 5% of ownership in these companies is traded on the stock exchange.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
Everything else is
LC
profit.
owns 9/10 of all preferred shares share issue of each of these 45,000, and the rest of the world owns 5,000
There you go.
shares of issued stock.
That's it. And remember, they also own the Federal Reserve Bank, okay? So where do we pay our taxes? To the Federal Reserve Bank, not to the America. So we put, you know, we donate, we pay our taxes. We think it's going to help the homeless in America. It's going to, you know, feed this person. It's going to clean up this, that. None of our money is going anywhere but to the private bank of the Federal Reserve. Now, the thing that happens is because they control our debt, no matter how much money we pay in taxes, there's like trillions of dollars in the Federal Reserve. We're never, ever, ever going to pay off that debt, and they know that. So everything that we put into every tax that they take and give to the Federal Reserve is going towards interest on our national debt. None of it is going back to the people. None of it, okay?
It's
So then the other thing is, if you connect all this, they've also gotten to a point where the last 3 presidents played along, they were involved, and they started setting up foundations, as you know, the Rockefellers, the Rockefeller Foundation.
Real quick before we get into that, I want to say something. So there is a notion that the Rockefellers and even the Rothschilds are just basically desk jockeys for the Passar family.
Exactly.
And that they basically propped, in particular the Rockefellers,
Right.
prop them up,
Right.
so that they
And
become
why?
the face of something that they. Now you got to understand something about these Passars. The truth, the belief is that they have children and they don't even register them.
Right.
There's no registry of them. There's no
Right.
actual evidence of a public record of these people existing.
Right. This
Why
is
would
where
you
it
do
gets
that?
complex because, you know, now we get into the satanic Illuminati side of things.
Why would you do that, XG?
Is it so that you can't trace them? Because
So you
Yeah.
can't trace them. You don't know who they are because they don't want anyone to know. I mean,
Right.
I'm 47 years old. I just found out about the Passar family in
On Q.
2019.
Right. Because Q, remember CIA dropped that the bloodlines of the Illuminati. Until the CIA dropped it on their site about a year ago, I always thought like, yeah, whatever, you know. And then that was for us to do some digging. They can't tell us everything, you know, so that's when I started. But basically the thought in the 13 Council, which is the 13 families, 12 families with the Pacers at the top, they believe that the Pacer bloodline is the bloodline of from the Garden of Eden of Eve and the serpent. Okay.
So Eve, you know, it's always been my thought that, you know, Eve was hitting it on the side.
Well, that's their thought too. Of course, it sounds disgusting, but anyway,
Is that how we get lizard people? Half human, half.
I can't even go there without. That's like one level too far. But yeah. So basically, and like, you know, Neon Revolt had a good article on this. It's really, it doesn't matter if we believe it. We obviously think it's ludicrous, but they do. And that's the problem. So anyway, the Pacers at the top of the Illuminati chain, according to all this stuff, because they're believed to be the true descendants of Satan and Eve. So they are supposed to be the people that create the Antichrist.
These hoes ain't loyal.
No. So anyway, but also then you think about it. Adam and Eve had 2 kids. Cain killed Abel. The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are Canaanites. There were tribes. It goes all the way to there. There were tribes in Israel. The Canaanites hate God. They feel like God sent the serpent / Lucifer, Satan, Moloch, whatever you want to call him, out of the Garden of Eden because of what happened. Well, they hate God. And their whole religion is based on destroying God and God's people, and it ties in today, crazy enough. But so the Pacers are the special people because they are supposed to be the one bloodline that will produce the Antichrist that will then bring the apocalypse, and then they can live their Georgia Guidestone life. You know, they then the Georgia Guidestones become important. So basically, it doesn't matter if we don't believe it. You know, there's so much evidence, and if it's on the CIA site and it's here, there, and everywhere, and it only came out now, it has something to do with Trump, because they needed to get somebody in there like Trump that was an outsider, that didn't care, because all these other people are related. The Bushes are related. They have bloodlines of, that they say, you know, Lincoln and Clinton and all these, they can trace them back to different families. They all intermarry because, not just because of money, but because they believe that their bloodlines are superior to ours. So
I couldn't agree more. And, you know, here's the whole thing, dude. Kennedys are bloodlines.
Right.
You know, they say that
Jr.
Lincoln
went
is
rogue.
a Rothschild.
Yeah, but I think JFK Jr. went rogue, and that's why they killed him. He was, because so is Onassis, you know? And then, not JFK Jr., JFK Sr. and his brother didn't want to go, they wanted to give the power back to the people, and they were murdered, you know? And then the truth is, some of these people, like Abraham Lincoln, is a Rothschild, but his father. But the truth is, he didn't believe in it. You have a choice. You always have free will because God gave you free will. But if you grow up believing that God is the problem and Satan is the answer, you know, then that's what you believe. And, you know, they say, oh, money's the root of all evil. No, love of money is the root of all evil.
I believe that when we're talking Satanism, we're talking Saturn worship.
Yeah.
Satanism, in my humble opinion, is a psyop that was created to take the best of what is like ancient knowledge, or Hinduism is like the oldest of the religions, and that, you know, and the whole idea is possibly we live in a realm and there's immortal gods and mortal gods, and we're here to learn lessons so that we can transcend to mortal gods. And what they did is they took the best of that religion and they took the worst of their religion, and they put them together so nobody would ever look at them. And there's only one reference to Lucifer in the Bible, and it's about him falling from the sky. And they took all that and they put it into something, and then we see, you know,
they turned it.
You know, there's Aleister Crowley, black magic, and then there's what's his name, the bald guy that started Satanism. What's his?
Anton.
I know.
Anton LaVey.
Right.
Anton LaVey. It's so obvious a psyop. It's so obvious that it's just it's like, you know what Satanism is, dude? It's just beta cuck anarchists who are just like lazy. They're just and they just want to do their Dungeons and Dragons bullshit. Okay.
Yeah, but it gets dangerous because they actually believe that they're superior to humanity. They don't consider themselves the same as you and I.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Saturnists are this level of people, and they believe in doing all this dark art stuff. And then Satanists are just like, yeah, look at us. We're going to go listen to The Cure, and we're going to put spells on people. I'm going to put a spell on the jock that banged my girlfriend in high school. You know, they're just dorks, dude. And
that's the thing about all these people. Look at the dude from Nexium. Who in God's name would follow that guy? You know? And I almost tripped and fell into Scientology everyone does in LA at some point.
I never did.
You know,
I knew that
you were down,
crazy out the gate.
at Beechwood Canyon, and you didn't know you were talking to one of them, and suddenly you're invited to the Celebrity Center.
Nobody invited me. I think they instantly knew it was never going to happen.
Worked out well.
My dad used to have a Scientology book, and I was like, what the hell's this crap?
Dianetics? Yeah.
Yeah, Dianetics. And I'm like, what do you read?
Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard was a sci-fi writer, but he was obsessed with Aleister Crowley. So
Aleister Crowley actually called Jack Parsons, says, hey, dude, get away from L. Ron Hubbard. You know, if Aleister Crowley's saying you're shady.
Totally. But but anyway, at this very top level, they all do this satanic stuff. But like you're saying, is it to control them? You know what I mean? Rather than,
well, it's like you said, if it doesn't matter if it's real or not, they believe it. It's like my opinion on Q is that the information's real, but what it represents, I don't know. We're seeing as it fold out, and we only know much down the line. But there is enough people that believe in this thing that now it is true. It's really happening. So, I mean, whoever's putting it out, I don't know. Yeah. But I also think it gets away from them after a moment, that it takes it, so it becomes Frankenstein's monster. You know, it's like, yeah,
Right, totally.
Dr. Frankenstein's created him, but at some
Right.
point he realized he couldn't control it anymore.
Right,
And that's
exactly.
the internet to me.
Right. But the internet, good and bad, it's also the only reason we know about the Illuminati or the Pacers or any
That's
of these
one,
people.
yeah, it's like,
We would never have known.
it's kind of what they say. What we had a guest say before. It's like the internet allowed us to get the knowledge of the elites
Right.
that we
Exactly.
could never get before.
And what's so far, you know, and so anyway, they say that all these families that are in the 13 families, they only intermarry, by the way. They don't marry outside. Remember I told you I dated somebody in the Illuminati and I was like, well, now I know. I didn't then. And he told me that his marriage was arranged. And I was like 19. He was like in his 20s in New York. And I'm like, what do you
And
mean?
he's married.
He had, yeah, but he had an arranged marriage. And I didn't put it together till years later that they're both offspring of these families.
So you're like his side chick?
Well, no, yeah, maybe. I was. No, I didn't know that he had a fiance or anything. And then this is so crazy. And then one day we're talking, and he said he was getting married on Saturday. And I'm like, I worked with him, but like I thank God it was early in the game, so I didn't get sucked in. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you know, I'm married. And he told me who it was, and that she lives in France, and she was coming over, and they were getting married, and that was that.
Did you ever meet her, or is she probably hanging
Yeah, I
out with
know
Johnny's
her.
girlfriend?
No, I know her. She's in LA. She might be. They're divorced now. Yeah, that was a marriage to keep it in the family. But
Yeah, that's to keep their bloodlines. And, you know,
and their
I
money.
think
And their
lizard
money.
people are just bad in the sack, too. And they don't want anybody to know. They got no rhythm.
Well, when the thing came out about Harvey Weinstein's
Mangina?
genitals, I was like, oh, that was so horrifying. Can you imagine? What crazy satanic twisting was that about? You know?
So a big thing about the Pissar family is
protect
that they
them.
have so many companies, and the belief is that the CFR is simply their trust, where
Right.
all the people from
It
all
is.
these that run all these companies get
Right.
together and
Right.
decide what's going to happen with the world because
Right.
they own so much of
I
the
see.
world.
Right. I say that there's a correlation between the resignation list in Q and the CFR. Now this is more recent work of mine, but every company in the CFR is connected to a PACER-owned company, okay, which we now call seed and company. But okay, so here's the other thing about
So interesting. That's such a big revelation because for the longest
I
time,
couldn't find it. I know.
but no, we thought that these resignations had to do with like pedophilia or dark art stuff, and it does in a way. But I'm really starting to think this had
Fraud
more
and
to
theft
do
of the American people.
with
You
this
know?
had more to do with they knew this virus
Absolutely.
pandemic was coming.
Absolutely.
And half of them probably hate their job, so they quit earlier. But I think they saw that the writing on the wall.
Well, also, they're complicit in it because we've been told that if we're not globalists and we're not helping foreign countries that are starving, even though many people in our own country are homeless and starving. I'm in NYC. Where the hell's the money going? It's not going to the people. That's for damn sure. But now if we want to go to the CFR, all of those companies can be connected back to companies in that trust. And then there's also the media, but they own them too. So the next thing is that the globalist thing is really about, they tell you it's all for good. And if you read, you want to vomit if you read the mission statement of any of these groups, the CFR, but World Health Organization, Trilateral Commission, they're all about that these elites, these people that are involved in this corporation, charity that brings them billions and billions and billions of dollars, God knows where it goes, they are looking out for the good of humanity. It's the exact opposite.
I'm starting to learn that, man. The more the media tells you somebody's a good guy, the more I realize they are a scum bag.
Right. And when I hear global or world or international in front of a foundation, I am pretty sure that it's connected to the same thing, which is about depopulation, in my opinion, because if you look at the Georgia Guidestones and the original stuff, those Georgia Guidestones are, I believe, what those people believe, deep down. And look, I'm not saying that they're all whatever. Their end goal has nothing to do with us. Okay, it has nothing to do with you or me or him or my parents, your kids. They don't care about us. We don't matter. And this whole global thing, you know that the Fed can't be audited? We don't know. They apparently, what number did I write down? They have like 1.8 quadrillion dollars. Quadrillion dollars. We can't investigate the Fed because it's a private bank under a trust. These are crazy laws, and people have tried, but you know, they almost killed Jackson. That's why Trump has the picture of Jackson on his wall of all presidents, because Jackson said that he had ended the Rothschild Bank. He said it was the most evil force in the world. And then, like you said, Woodrow Wilson was brought in by the CFR and the original CIA, which was called something else, which also the Pacers owned it. The Pacers owned it through their security system that ran the military railroad is the original CIA. Okay. So then, you know, so now we're here, and right now the dilemma is, okay, so America's money has not been going back to us. That mortgage scandal, they don't care about us. They just took all our property back because we stupidly signed contracts thinking that it was our government that was giving us these mortgages, but it's not. It's the corporation of the United States of America that is basically part of these same people. So the Federal Reserve is all about enriching themselves, while we think that our tax money is not going to anything we think it's going to. It's going to debt. It's going to paying interest on our debt that we can never, ever satisfy. And that's what I think it's been on the Q map about them being at the top. They're not known of. The reason that they all protect them is because their bloodline is supposed to produce the Antichrist, which then will be the apocalypse, which then will take the world population down to 500 million, because it's easier to control 500 million than 7 billion. Okay, and I think we're there right now at the cusp, because, you know, a lot of people don't realize these executive orders that Trump has been doing are really about undermining the Fed. He's trying to, in my opinion, he's trying to bankrupt the Fed because he took the pandemic and turned it around on them. They knew it was coming because it's basically in that Agenda 2030. Oh, the worst is the UN. And most people don't, which is connected to the CFR, but most people don't know that in 1999, I believe it's McCarthy, put up a bill to pull us out of the UN and seize all their assets in America. And I think that would be a good start because, you know, the elite, like they call themselves the elite, but if you look more into like their goals and agendas, first of all, they're all the same. They're all aligned on the same page. And, you know, what's really scary is a lot of the media is in the CFR. And so are a lot of college presidents. And so are a lot of, you know, if you look at their list of membership, it's unreal how much influence they have and power, and they have the money. And like Rockefeller said, I think there was some quote where he said that if people think that I'm trying to do this to make a global one world order, which is the goal is to have a one central bank, central political body, control the entire world and turn it into different continents.
Now look at this, dude. Okay, so the Paysar family owns 95% of the Fortune 500 of 30 of the 500 Fortune 500 companies. Okay, now think about that. This is why I've always said that television is a giant scam. Okay, we never knew what ratings were. They had this Nielsen thing forever. Nobody knew who had a Nielsen box, and they would just send us the numbers. I mean, the Mindy Project was on television for what seemed like forever. I never met anybody that watched that show, and that's no disrespect to anybody on the show. Johnny, does your fake girlfriend watch it?
Well, no, I would say I was a Nielsen person for a while. I got a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, do you want to do Nielsen? You want to be a Nielsen viewer?" And they said, "We'll send you $20." They sent me $20. I did it for a little while and then forgot about it. But yeah, I just had to fill out.
So Johnny's Illuminati. We just found that Illuminati confirmed. Is that how they get on the show?
They need pawns. They need pawns. They need average pawns.
So think about this.
That's what it is. Yeah.
We don't. They own. I heard they own most of all the 500 companies. That's what I've heard.
They do. Well,
okay.
my number is 300 of the 500 is owned by this trust, this Pacer Trust, which is now called.
So think about this, right? You own the companies that own the networks. Okay, so you own all the networks, and now you own all the companies advertising on the networks.
Right.
So
and they
it's
all
just,
can align under one agenda.
you're just moving money around. And that's why they don't give a shit about ratings. They're not making money and they're not losing money because they're just moving money.
They're
And
only
that's why
making
they can
money.
run shit into the ground because
Well,
it doesn't matter.
And it's going
Right.
to get worse.
Yeah, go ahead. You go
And
ahead.
I was going to say, it's going to get worse. I don't know if you saw that on Business Insider. They got CVS and Walgreens buying out mom and pop's pharmacies right now.
Well, yeah. Why? I'm in New York City. Why the hell is Home Depot open, but the guy that we go to on the corner usually to like buy nails and stuff is closed? My sister's an attorney, and she's saying there's going to be a lot of lawsuits from these small companies saying, why was Walmart open and we weren't? Why was what's the difference? Like, you don't
Sue
trust
the
the American
fuck out
people?
of them, dude.
But listen, it's they're all connected. Look at how much money these companies made by staying open. While, a company that's traveled down in a family, it's been like on First Avenue and 57th Street or wherever for 100 years is now closed. I mean, we're walking down the street, we're looking in restaurants, everything's gone. Like, they're not coming back.
Oh, dude, there's some comedy clubs that are thinking about shutting it down for good
Get out.
and not coming back because it's just, I know that I just talked to somebody that said that the Comedy Cellar is just going to go down to that one room downstairs.
My favorite, though. That's the greatest. Dude, I had so much fun as a kid down in that room. I'd be okay.
Okay. So let's get into this. A lot of times, this show has the uncomfortable conversations that people don't like to have. And I think it's very important to have talks about stuff that is going on. So one time, I'd say about 2 years ago, there was, I forget, a senator or a congressman said that the Rothschilds control the weather. They're talking about DARPA and all that stuff. And instantly, the smear machine went, and they said, Senator says Jews control the weather. And that's not what he said at all. And that's how they get you to stop questioning everything.
Right. That's what I told you earlier when we spoke. I said, in my opinion, these families that are Jewish, remember, they're run by a French family, okay, that nobody knows. But they were never Jewish, okay? Jewish people follow Judaism. Judaism is the reading of the Torah from beginning to end every year. From Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, the same exact 5 books of Moses. That's it. That's what you read. That's what you believe. Okay. And that's Judaism. Okay. And then the other side, there were 12 tribes. You don't know. There's plenty of, this is history, even though our history, I'm sure, is really rewritten dramatically. But if you go into history, there were 12 tribes. Well, one of them was Dan. One of them, followed Canaanite and Gnostic and all that. But the Israelites and the descendants of Joseph and them, they follow the Torah. These people have nothing to do with the Torah. And besides that,
they actually created another book, and it's called it's called, and this is the giveaway, is the what's it called?
Kabbalah. A lot of people say Kabbalah is witchcraft.
The oral history of the Babylonian. Whenever you see Babylonian, that is a direct reference
Illuminati.
to the Dark Arts Black Cube worship, Babylonian oral history of the Talmud. Okay, that's
what they are. So even me as a Jew, I can see through this. Look, the Rothschilds benefit the entire Council of 13, Committee of 300. They benefited from both First and Second World War. And when somebody says criticizing Soros is anti-Semitic, I want to jump over and strangle them. The man is not Jewish. He does not practice Judaism. None of them do. They all practice, like you said, the dark arts, or whatever the case may be. There were all these tribes, and they spread out. Well, guess what? That anti-Semitic elders of Zion. Well, there's really elders of Sion, Sion, which is Mount Hermon in Lebanon. And these are people that actually think that they're descendants of Egypt, not of Israel. So, it's so crazy and convoluted, but I believe that they created anti-Semitism, as I believe the Muslim Brotherhood created Islamophobia, to say, you can't criticize us or you're an anti-Semite. Well, I know a lot of Jews that never accepted me, and I don't consider every Jew, it's just like, as a Jew, it upsets me when Jewish people, that so many Jewish people were at Epstein Island, are involved in this, are involved in that. But then I had to look underneath that and be like, what is going on here? And then only to find they hate God. They don't believe in the Torah or the New Testament. They don't believe in that. They don't believe in anything like that. But they've used it to their advantage, I believe, all these years to say, just like I understood what Mel Gibson was saying. What he was saying was, he's saying Jewish. Like, I'd like this to be clarified, because last week my evil mayor here threatened the Jewish community within days of praising the Muslim community. And he said the Jewish community, without saying, he's talking about a handful of people in Williamsburg that I don't have anything in common with. Like when I go down to Fairfax, when I'm in LA, they don't think I'm Jewish. Like, you get off the train in Williamsburg, I ain't no Jew to them. I'm below them to them. So what? It's like saying every black dude is in a gang. No, they're not.
Yeah, it is just ridiculous, dude.
Right, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And,
Jews aren't bankers. Jews aren't bankers. Okay, white people aren't racist. Black people aren't fucking criminals. Gays aren't pedophiles. These are like Brad fucking terms that are done to get us all to fight with each other.
Right, to confuse, to divide and conquer. Look,
if you don't take a look at the real people, it's always the same people. Always the same.
All you have to do is put the UN, Trilateral Commission, CFR, World Health Organization, Gates Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Ford Foundation, all next to each other, and they're all the same members. They're all the same members. I always say it's like 3,000 people on this planet think that they are so far superior to the rest of us that they should dictate how many people live on this planet, how we spend our monies, how we raise our kids, what we eat, where we can go, what we think. And the sad part is we've allowed them to hijack, which happened in Germany too, we've allowed them to hijack our schools and our universities, which, ended up having, now we have all of us are in our 40s, but I would say that we have about 2 generations of kids that were taught not to think.
Oh, for sure.
That's the goal, was to teach them to accept that these higher moral values of the globalists before you, the one world order before you, the one monetary system before you. This is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. It's like, what do you think the Declaration of Independence was about? It was that me, you, and all of our friends and family can raise their children the way they want. What is the point of being on this planet if you can't? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is the last thing they want for us, and
100%.
And then they guilt us into being
get
assholes.
These terms, and they get us to fight with each other. And you have, and what happens is generations.
Money. I'm sorry, but then they have the gall to do this. The day after Trump says we're not funding World Health Organization, and there's plenty of reasons to. It's through the CFR. If you go to the website, that's where you find them. The truth is, 2 days later, Lady Gaga and all the people on Epstein Island did a benefit where they had people like me and you guys, donating money. Why do they need our money to help? In the pandemic, none of us have any money because they have it.
Yeah, it is just ultimately ridiculous.
People are so brainwashed that they think, oh, well, Trump is pulling out of the World Health Organization and this and that. Well, we got to raise money for them to keep them going. Well, he's the president. What do you mean you have? And then they have the gall to go do it so blatantly, and then brag about raising like $50 million for the pandemic from schmucks like me, and it's just.
It is unbelievable. How many of these? I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really proud of all these comics. They did some shows and they raised money for comics in need. But these giant celebrities, Lady Gaga, who'd she raise money for?
World Health Organization.
Yeah, exactly. The World Health Organization that's been taking money from Bill Gates and the Communist Party. Now, I want to get into something real quick.
Before you get there, you know who's not paying taxes and got a stimulus check?
Who?
Churches.
Right. And
they
trusts.
all got money. Churches.
And trusts. Right. and
And,
trusts
dude,
and
mean, like,
foundations. All
just
these
think about this, dude. If we go back to my whole theory, that's all Jesuits, okay? And they create this law which states that churches don't have to pay taxes. I mean, how brilliant is that?
or
I mean,
be
why?
audited.
Yeah. Why have an army everywhere when you could just open franchises and call them churches and basically run everything from there?
Well, that happens a lot in a lot of America, you know, and because they just corrupt everything that has any semblance of good, and they try to inject themselves with the moral superiority of Satan.
What is up is really down. So something very interesting today. A drone, Johnny. Actually, I don't know if you guys saw this, but somebody used a drone, and they went and they shot on top of the Georgia Guidestones, right?
Because they
And
said
what-
they saw blood. Yeah.
And they saw blood 2 different times. Johnny, did you see
they
that?
went up there?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't seen that.
No, I'm looking for it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Fine. Well, here's what happened. Yeah, like you said, the guy with the drone, he monitors it a lot. That guy thinks it's a satanic monument, you know, and that there was blood, he said, on
I
top.
found a story from 2019 that appears to show the top of the Georgia
But
Guidestones.
then they went up there and they took the blood and they're going to test it. And then I never heard about it again.
Well, now is the story you're referencing from 2015? Is that the same one?
No, I think it might be more recent.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to share my screen and you can see it. Tell me if this is what this story's from 2015 now.
2015?
Yeah.
God dang.
Is this
Yeah,
what?
that's it. Are you telling me
Yeah.
it's 2015? But still, that doesn't change anything.
No, it doesn't. No, but we
It's
never.
like,
I guess
look
I
at
never
that. That's
followed
a
up.
blood stain right there.
Right. From look, that looks just like the sacrificial rocks on Epstein Island, does it not? You
Oh,
know?
unbelievable, dude.
But anyway, no, the cops had to investigate it. I don't know if it was then or whatever, but I read an article that they went up there and they took samples and took off. That's like people try to say that LC Paysor isn't really, that they buried the real Lewis in France. But then a few years ago, somebody did a DNA test and it's not where they buried him. It is not. So people can say all they want that he died and he's there, but it's already been proven that the blood in where they say they buried him isn't his. So
I mean, Hitler, someone did a test on the body. They found a Hitler and it was a chick.
right, he
Hey,
was
Sam,
gone.
Yeah.
for what it's worth, this is the quote from the story. It says, deputies went up there. There was something that was bluish black, maybe where water had pooled. To the naked eye, it does not look red. In that video, it looks like someone, quote unquote, photoshopped it to make it look like there was blood. So that's according to the authorities who investigated it.
All right.
Take that for what it's worth, though.
Yeah.
I don't
think
take
it's
it
a
worth
later
anything,
one.
but I also would say that's not. It drives me nuts that people will do that for clicks.
I don't think that but then there's another story about the DNA. But like there's some dude that lives on the like 600 feet away from there that sold the land for them to build this on. And he watches it. He's convinced there's something underneath there that's satanic, that's buried. But whatever the
I
case
wouldn't
may
doubt
be,
it. I
people
wouldn't
go-
doubt it at all.
because even if they're saying that's not blood, it has been proven that witches have gone there. Witches have gone there with blood sacrifices with chickens. You know, how do we?
When I was a kid, witches met fat chicks who wore goth. That's all it was.
Right. So,
Right.
but there obviously was blood there at some point, even if it wasn't human. But now there's never been blood. You know, I don't know. But also, that's a big tourist trap for that area that has like 400 people living there. So,
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? It also brings us to the fact that we have, which is what people have been talking about and what seems to be in full force right now, is Agenda 21 and,
And 2030.
Agenda UN 2030, which seems to be even more in play now.
right. And it's like I said, the 2030 included the pandemic. And you guys, thank God Hillary didn't win because this was coming no matter what. And this would have been a hell of a lot worse. But that Agenda 2030, I read through it. And then if you read through the agenda of the CFR, the agenda of trilateral, the agenda of churches in England, they're all aligned. They're the same. And like
Just
I
think
said,
about this.
Yeah.
Think about this. Well, look at what all the Democratic governors and mayors are doing right now. Now just imagine Hillary Clinton in a presidency and what would be going on in this country right now?
Well, we
It'd
would
be
have
South Korea.
South Korea.
We'd all have the tracking devices and all that shit. But did you
Damn right.
what do you think about World War III happening? Do you hear about China hacking the U.S., trying to get vaccine research information?
Yeah.
Well, you know, a big thing that just somebody brought up was that whenever I start talking about real stuff, my internet goes to shit. So if you don't think they're listening to me, you're crazy. It keeps going. Your internet's not good. Yeah, because you're not making it good, and we know it. All right, Johnny, thoughts? I know you want to talk shit.
Real quick, what did you see that story? Is there anything interesting about that story? Did you see the guy who got suicided, who was investigating coronavirus DNA?
In Pittsburgh?
Yeah. How that was.
I saw that.
I'd love to know what he was, because they said he was really on the verge of like some kind of breakthrough.
Of course, man, and they don't want that because they want to own it.
Right, they created it, and then they also create the vaccine. But you know, David Icke said they're also admitting that they haven't isolated the Corona-19 virus. So how could they have a vaccine or a test for a strand of something that they don't have isolated yet? It doesn't make any sense. And he said that a couple days ago, and that was taken down right away. But also, I think they want to put a chip in us. That ID 2020 is also under that Agenda 2030 at the UN, which is about microchipping all of us. And they sell it as everyone in the world now gets an ID. Really?
And you want to know why it's
my mind?
Hey, wait up! You want to know why it's Corona-19? Because it's like the iPhone, Corona 20, iPhone 2,
Right.
iPhone 3. That's why you put a name on it.
Right.
Why don't you just give it a new name if you're not gonna make another one of it?
It doesn't make any sense. But also, you know, I do think Trump and the military intelligence were prepared for it. And I think he's playing along with the vaccine. I don't think that there's a chance in hell that that's going to be something that we mandatorily have to do. It should never be. But they're selling it all, like I told you, just like I was saying before, they're selling it under the guise of being a globalist and good to the world is far better than taking care of your own neighborhood. You know, why take care of ourselves and our starving and our homeless and our sick and our schools and why would we do that? We're so selfish in America. We should be taking care of everywhere else. And meanwhile, they're just collecting our money. It's not going back to us. It's going to the Federal Reserve, you know?
Yep.
You know, under the guise of shaming us.
People need to really understand what kind of bullet we dodged.
God.
I know people don't want to believe that anybody in the government could do anything good. That's what we've been trained, that, you know, that everybody's evil. Nobody's a good person. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Trump walks on water. I'm not. I could sit here forever and do a show. And I'm going to do a show. I just decided right now, I'm going to do a show on what we should be upset about Trump on. And I guarantee you'll hear none of it on the news because the people who sign the checks actually like this stuff that Trump is doing, okay?
You're
That's
right.
just the truth.
Right.
But
right. Go ahead.
if you don't think that we didn't dodge a bullet, do you think Hillary Clinton would have arrested Jeffrey Epstein ever?
What?
Nope.
We wouldn't even know who he is. They were involved.
Nope.
But also,
Never.
the crazy thing that bothers me, though.
If she was here, we'd be on lockdown.
Right.
This thing would go 3 years. Our gun rights would be taken away.
We'd all be living on $2,000 a month from the government that they could hold back. And we'd all our health records.
If you didn't play ball, if you criticized her, just know, she called the LA Comedy Club and told them to take down jokes about her. That's who we were going to put in.
What an asshole.
Imagine Trump doing that.
No, Trump loves it.
He'd never do it.
Listen,
He'd never do it.
The only thing I know for sure is that Trump did, the one thing I do think is that his goal is to end the Fed and have our money, our taxes go back to us.
Well, I think he's just going to hand it to different gangsters. But hey, I'm fine with that as long as it's not the same gangsters that's been running us. Dude, the fact that we need anybody, we should just hit the reset button on all of this.
Right, and they just found, they just, because of this pandemic, found a way to get the money directly to the people. They found a way to get the money directly to the small businesses, skipping the banks, skipping the, you know, so now we have a thing where I put my, I'm sure you all did, put my, you know, bank information in there. And one day I woke up and I had a $1,200 check. So, so they
I
have
still
that.
haven't got my money, and I don't want it. I
But
don't
it
want
doesn't-
any
Love
of it.
Nope.
But
I
the
wish
point
we'd all
is
just kind of go, you know what? Hey, you remember when they told us we couldn't go to beaches and we did that? You remember when they said we couldn't meet up and we did that? What if we all said, guess what? I don't want to pay my taxes right now.
I think he's abolishing the IRS because it's illegal. And I don't know, we can do a whole nother show on the act of 1871 when they incorporated DC. It's a whole nother can of worms, but you know, the incorporation of DC is a part of this.
What's so interesting is like people just don't realize what we're up against. It's the same cabal. It's the same cabal that's been since
For hundreds
Ronald
of
Reagan, which
years.
is Bush's
Longer than that.
cabal, all the way to Obama, who is a Bush. He's a Hinckley, actually, which is very interesting because they're 10th cousins. Oh, you know, everyone's like,
They
oh,
intermarry.
everybody's related. How far back do you have to go before me and XG have a common fucking relative?
Probably a lot closer than you think.
You think
Kinda serious.
that me and XG could find a common thing within 10 generations?
I'll try. I'm pretty good at research. No,
All right, you could do that. You can come back on and prove us wrong.
Did you ever see? There's like a little girl that actually traced all the presidents.
Yeah, but you'd understand something. You're talking about a powerful group of people who all get the same jobs. You're talking about two dudes who, like, one's an Armenian Italian, the other one's an illegal Mexican. Okay, it's like these two shall not. You know, good luck.
And I'm a German Jew, so this
I
is a.
know, which is a lot of weirdness. But
Yeah.
I mean, so they're both Hinckleys, which is very interesting because who
I mean,
shot Reagan?
I'm an
Hinckley.
Italian German Jew, even a little crazier.
Yeah, you're just everybody that lost a war right there. So you have this cabal that goes from Ronald Reagan all the way to Obama, which is the decay, which is where like treason and selling out became part of you know.
Well, I think we took the real turn with Woodrow Wilson, and from then on, it was a plan.
The worst
was a
of all
plan.
time.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna find. You know, nobody. Do you guys obviously know about the envelopes at the Bush funeral? That
Yeah, I
nobody
mean,
on the
now
planet knows
everybody's
about?
starting to come out with what was on them.
Nobody has ever. But remember, nobody covered it. I would tell people. I had to like show my parents. They didn't believe it. I had to tell so many people. Nobody believes it. I
My
don't know
favorite
what
thing
you
is
said.
Jimmy Carter trying to find his envelope.
Yes, sucker. He was just a boss.
He's like, where? He's like
Why
shaking
didn't
his
I get
envelope to see if it's gonna fall out.
I know. How about Laura looks at Bush?
No, my favorite is Jeb Bush getting trust fund kid angry,
Right, and he looked
which
at
is
the guy.
all Bill Gates's, dude. We're gonna do a show on Bill Gates, and I'm gonna light this motherfucker up. If I hear another person tell me about I gotta trust this guy when everything he's done is just rich kid scumbag shit. He's no different than George Bush. He's no different than Jared Kushner. These are trust fund kids.
Right, but also the difference is he dropped out of Harvard his first year, never went back to school, and then it's not, you know how much he's. At what point did he become somebody? It's these foundations. They established these foundations.
Yeah,
get the
his
PR
dad boy
right.
ran a Federal Reserve. It's the same thing with Zuckerberg. That whole Facebook movie story is completely
That's
fabricated.
total bullshit.
Those
No.
two twins were just taken for a ride, and they're like, just say this, and you'll make billions of dollars. And all of a sudden, those two kids who just happen to be the ones who Zuckerberg stole his stuff from suddenly now are the first Bitcoin billionaires. How
What's
does
the
that all
common
work
denominator?
out?
Common denominator is Harvard in that situation.
Oh, yeah, dude.
At the
yeah,
same
and then-
time, you know, Zuckerberg, within 2 hours of listing Facebook, it was a $2 billion company.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And
What?
just that same day, the Pentagon stopped their program called LifeLog,
Exactly.
which is the
Starbucks,
exact
yeah.
same thing.
I know.
That's what they did. They just took it and they gave it to Zuckerberg because he's a Rockefeller.
Right.
And they just said, act like you're running this thing and you'll make
Right.
more money than God and
Right.
we'll be fine. And
Right.
then you're just
Well,
good.
that's
And
why
then
he
they told
seemed like
these
such
two
an
twins.
idiot in the Senate when he was testifying. You were like, is this guy a robot? How about that? Did you guys see that thing with Justin Trudeau where he's like, send your kids to the other room?
Oh, that was creepy.
What was going on there?
He
Was
told
that
the
like a-
moms, yeah, he told the moms, can you guys leave so I can talk to the kids by themselves?
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah,
And
I'll
he was
punch
like,
that dude.
like a robot.
Well,
was
dude,
so-
he has a pedo symbol in his one of his companies. Yeah.
Well, a
I
lot
mean,
of them do.
I know, dude. It's just weird. It's like
That's a whole nother
sometimes
level.
I'm just like, it's just they don't know what to do, and then sometimes it's purposeful, you know. Well,
No.
Mel, it was a
Yeah.
great show. We broke it down. We've changed people's lives. We truly are freedom fighters.
I just think people need to start asking, what is going on? Where's our money going? Where are our taxes going? What is the Fed? How does a private bank collect
Yeah.
our tax dollars?
Yep. I mean, people need to start, if there's anything that saddens me, there's a couple things when you do the show that are very rough to accept. That is, YouTube is going to just destroy any of my views. I mean, the show's never been bigger, but I'm getting smaller and smaller fucking numbers on YouTube. And now Google's fucking with Google Play. I know that for a fact.
And
Okay.
look-
And then
look
another
at-
thing is like, I'm just trying to save the retarded. And it's just like, if we could make a deal where like certain sections of the country can get certain things like, hey, this area can get, we can live by the Constitution. This area, okay, you guys can get all the globalist bullshit you want. The problem is they're going to take California, and that's the best weather, and they got to go live in South Dakota, where
Believe me,
it's below
broke my
zero.
heart. It broke my heart to leave, but I felt like California had become, LA had become such a cesspool, and I didn't
Can't
agree with
take
anyone.
the weather anywhere else.
I know, it's the worst part. Oh, I miss it. I miss it every day. I loved my house. I loved my gym. But I had to leave. I couldn't stand the people
But you
anymore.
went to New York, which is like,
Word, yeah.
I mean, it's like
Well, I really went to Florida first, and then I got, when you're in our business, you can only go so like certain places that you can work and make money to put into my little pension. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys today. I got a nice email from SAG that they have a Screen Actors Guild town hall tomorrow with Adam Schiff for all members of Screen Actors Guild.
oh yeah, and then I'm Armenian. Janice, we got Glendale. They're inviting Adam Schiff to be on like these like Sky. I should have gone on it. Why didn't I go on it?
How do these people not know? I mean, they do know.
They're just, listen, man. Actors are just, it sucks because they just want to act. They just want to play make believe. To be able to do that, you have to get greenlit by every one of these private
people.
school dorks. That if
The
you don't
same
play
people.
ball,
Yeah.
like they think they're open-minded because they have a black boyfriend and gay friends, and it's like they're the most closed-mind assholes I've ever met in my life.
Well, there's no value anymore to them in talent or craft or earning it or, the millions of years that it takes to like become a stand-up or get in the DGA. Now, if you fit a certain criteria and go through some 5-week program, you're going to be the director of that episode and not the guy who has Emmys and has been working for 35 years, strictly based on that your sexual gender or color is something, not on like it ended.
It's just laziness. And dude, the truth of the matter is it only happens on the lower level. It's all bit parts and small parts. And, it's like the Oscars so white. It's never going to change, man, because people have to give up their seats. And these people want change after they get theirs.
Right. Well, it's like the elite, what do they call it? Like what they're all saying. They're saying, you got to listen to us because we know better. Those are the same people running that. It's the same people. And, every time I see it.
I'm just going to tell you that. I hate everybody.
It's like with Deborah Messing. Every time a show gets canceled, she gets another one. And I'm like, I know 50 great actresses that deserve a shot. Nope.
Dude,
And
if I
I
hear
figure out.
another female comic talk about how hard it is to be a female comic and they just get show after show after show. I mean, like, I've never seen. I
Well,
like,
it's
dude. I love
certain
everybody,
comics.
and it's not even the good female. Like,
Right,
like
it's certain
unbelievable.
people.
There's funny comics
know.
out there, and they can't get anything going. And then these fucking hacks. It's just like
Well, you know.
unbelievable.
I know.
All
I had a
right,
lot of
Mel,
friends
tell
that
them where they
were.
can find you. Tell them where they can find you.
Well, I'm kind of underground.
Shit.
Lizard person, underground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. What are you doing? Hurting the children under there? No.
I'm
All right, Mel. We gotta do it again. I love your energy.
impulsive woman on Twitter, Manic in Manhattan.
Thank you for coming in defending
Thank
me
you for having me.
to that guy who said this guy said when he heard Adam Green say that Hitler's a Zionist, he stopped it and started crying. Tinfoil hat is not for you, child. Okay? Adults are talking. Go sit at the kids' table. All right? Go sit at the kids' table. Thank you, Mel. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, XG.
Thank you,
It's always a
everyone.
pleasure. We'll
See
do
you
it
next
again
time.
soon, everybody. Take care. Enjoy your day. All right?
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Good day, Swarm. Goodbye, Swarm. Swarm up. Take care, everybody. Bye.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack. Tinfoil hack. Tinfoil hack.